Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sunday, November 8th, 2020. Mr. WCWUS Chad Hinshaw of the WCWUS stable of groups on Facebook and also the WCWUS Radio Network on TalkShoe.com. Due to a programming glitch on TalkShoe.com this morning, we are unable to bring you our regularly scheduled episode. But however, we are going to still bring you just uh, for right now of course, results of what happened last night with AEW Full Gear, plus give you the results of our AEW Full Gear prediction title challenge, plus also give you the a review of today's wrestling history and also some wrestling news tidbits. So listen very carefully and, like I said, have fun. And like I said, please feel free to leave your comments here, of course, as we, of course, get started. Let's go ahead here first off and check out today's wrestling history and birthdays for today, November the 8th. So you got a real good lineup of history right here. On this date in 1975, the longest AWA World Heavyweight title reign in history was ended in St. Paul, Minnesota. Vern Gagne's 2,625-day reign, which lasted 3 years and 70 days, excuse me, was ended at the hands of Nick Bockwinkel. The winner would go on to hold the title for over 4.5 years himself, which is the second longest reign ever, meaning that the AWA Championship changed hands just once in just short of 12 years. On this date in 1980, Tony Garea and Rick Martel defeated the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika, to win the WWF Tag Team titles. On this date in 1999, a ladder match on WCW Monday Nitro for the U.S. title was won by Scott Hall. The other competitors in the match was Bret Hart, Sid Vicious, and Goldberg. Also in 1999, the New Age Outlaws defeated Al Snow and Mankind on Raw's War to win the WWF Tag Team titles. They were the first team to win the titles on 5 occasions. On this date in 2005, Eddie Guerrero defeated Mr. Kennedy on SmackDown to earn a spot on the Blue Brands team at the upcoming Survivor Series pay-per-view. Sadly, of course, he would never make it. This was Guerrero's last professional wrestling match before his untimely death 4 days later. On his day in 2009, Tiger Mask 4 defeated Mystico in Tokyo to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. On his day in 2014, Jushin Thunder Liger defeated Chase Owens to win the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title at New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle in Osaka, Japan. It was the first time Liger had won the belt since 1997. At a length of 17 years, this was the longest gap between 2 title wins for any NWA sanctioned belt for anyone in history. On his day in 2017, at an Impact Wrestling TV taping in Ottawa, Canada, Laurel Van Ness, or she would later be known in WWE as Chelsea Green, defeated Rosemary to win the Impact Wrestling Knockouts title. On this date in 2019, at a SmackDown live taping in Manchester, United Kingdom, the New Day, Big E, and Kofi Kingston defeated the Revival, Dash Wilder, and Scott Dawson to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. At the same taping, Imperium, who was Walter Alexander Wolf, Fabian Aichner, and Marcel Barthel, were defeated by Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and the Street Profits as part of the Monday Night Raw tapings. With the exception of Wolf, this match was Imperium's main roster debut. Checking out, of course, ladies and gentlemen, our wrestling birthdays here for today. Japanese sensation Kazuchika Okada turns 33 today. Excuse me. And the son of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase Jr., today turns, today turns 38 years old here today. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, with your wrestling history report here, of course, for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us go ahead and bring you, of course, the results of the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view event. Quick rundown here. In 10 minutes 25 seconds, Serena Deeb defeated Allison Kay by submission to retain the NWA Women's title. In 18 minutes 25 seconds, Kenny Omega defeated Hangman Adam Page in the final match of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament to receive a future shot at the AEW World Title. At 9 minutes and 40 seconds, Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver. In an even 17 minutes, Darby Allin gets by Cody Rhodes and wins the AEW TNT title. In 14 minutes and 10 seconds, Hikaru Shida defeats Nyla Rose to retain the AEW Women's World title. In 28 minutes and 35 seconds, the Young Bucks defeat FTR to pick up the AEW World Tag Team titles. However, if the Bucks would have lost, they would never have challenged for the tag team titles again. Also, FTR's coach, Hall of Famer Tully Blanchard, was barred from ringside. Also, the Elite Deletion match, we don't have a time frame for that. We believe that was possibly taped before the pay-per-view, I'm assuming. Sorry about that, folks. Matt Hardy defeats Sammy Guevara. In 16 minutes and 10 seconds, MJF, believe it or not, defeats Chris Jericho. That means, ladies and gentlemen, he is officially allowed to join the group known as the Inner Circle. In the main event, ladies and gentlemen, in 17 minutes and 35 seconds, Jon Moxley defeats Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match to retain the AEW World title. So there you have it, there, folks. With the results of that. Now, as far as our prediction title challenge is concerned, of course, we were very fortunate enough to have 13 people jump on the bandwagon here and be a part of this right here. And we've had some very close numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Some very close ones indeed. However, after, of course, carefully reviewing this before we went on the air, I can point out that Antonio Gutierrez had the most picks correct with 8, followed by, in second place, we had a 3-way tie between the Soul Man Justin Lewis Fleming, Danny from Oak Park, and the King of Clubs Amit Patel. In third place, with 6 correct, John May, Layla Peters, Justin Carter, the Black Widow Michelle Lynn Dodds, Big Diesel Gregory Kramer, Jordan Stuffless, the Human Suplex Machine John Gross, and the Iceman Jared DiGirolamo. And in fourth place, ladies and gentlemen, with only 5 correct, but still did tremendously, that was Kevin O'Sullivan. Now, as we said, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to do here, of course, my apologies if we did not get a chance to do it last night, but we will do it here in a little while. What we are going to do is post a special poll on the WCWUS Pay-Per-View Prediction Center page, putting the names of all of these folks that took part in the Prediction Title Challenge. And what we are going to do is, like I said, this is going to be, of course, determine the number 1 contender for the NXT US Halloween Havoc Championship. So whoever wins the Halloween Havoc title also on November the 20th, they will automatically know who their first challenger will be. So these 13 folks will be placed in this, There'll be plenty of time for everyone to get their votes in. Uh, but like I said, uh, currently, of course, the NXT US Halloween Havoc Championship Tournament semifinals are going on here as well. Which, of course, like I said, we have 5 folks participating in this, which, like I said, this will end, of course, this coming Friday. Antonio Gutierrez, Jordan Stuffless, Eddie Garza, the Human Suplex Machine, John Gross, and the King of Clubs, Mick Patel, are involved in that. And whomever the highest 2 votes are the highest 2 votes placed after, of course, before we go on the air on Revolution Friday, this coming Friday night, we will of course place them in the final match, and the voting for the final match will end on November the 20th, the same time that we find out about the number 1 contender for the for the Halloween Havoc title. So we will have a new champion by that time, and we will have their first challenger by that time as well. So be sure to, of course, check that out. Here, of course, will be if you haven't joined the WCWUS Pay-Per-View Prediction Center page, please feel free to do so. It is facebook.com/groups/WCWUS PTC Central if you wish to join that group indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, normally we would also be talking about what's coming up here in the radio network, but of course, due to our special edition here, I'm not able to bring that information to you right now. But however, what we will do is go ahead and get you, of course, up to date here with a few pieces of wrestling stories here. Um, and like I said, we're just going to like I said, we got 5 stories lined up here. We're going to go ahead and give you right here before we proceed ahead. But I will go ahead and let you know that we do, as always, thank our friends at 411 Mania for allowing us in the WCWUS radio network to read their stories, of course, on all of our shows that we have, of course, on TalkShoe.com, which is, of course, including Revolution, Wolfpack, Raw Radio, Outside the Ropes, Power Hour, and, of course, WCWUS This Morning. Some various news right here coming in from Joseph Lee came out yesterday evening. As Don Callis, believe it or not, makes an appearance at AEW Full Gear. Also a match set for ICW No Holds Barred Volume 8. And also Sami Zayn apparently angry at Paul Heyman on the Talking Smack show. Impact Wrestling's Don Callis made an appearance on last night's AEW Full Gear, calling the action for the number 1 contenders match between Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. And of course, 411 Mania did have, of course, live coverage of it. There was a link to it there if you still want to check that out. Also, a match between G Raver and Eddie Only has been added to ICW No Holds Barred Volume 8 this coming Saturday. And that'll be, of course, November the 14th at 8 p.m. In Port Richey, Florida. Tickets are, of course, still available if you want to check that out. And also, there's a clip, of course, from this past week's episode of Talking Smack, as WWE has posted a clip from the show in which Sami Zayn gets angry with Paul Heyman for replacing him as a co-host. So definitely check that out if you want to look in on that. Joseph Lee posted this story yesterday as Sami Zayn, speaking of which, explains why he doesn't like Donald Trump. In a post on Twitter, Sami Zayn explained why he doesn't like outgoing President Donald Trump, who lost this year's election to Joe Biden yesterday. He wrote the following on Twitter: "One petty reason I dislike Trump is that he has infringed on my gimmick of being a delusional, cowardly heel. Not even joking. So much of the arrogance, paranoia, victimhood, and denial that has long been the language of the heel wrestler is now attributed to him, and it pisses me off. That's pretty much all he pretty much said on that. Yesterday, Jeffrey Harris posted this story as Miro, of course, as we said, is known as Rusev, on was was asked if he knew that he was going to go always going to go to AEW, and how he asked for his release 3 years ago, and the news being leaked. AEW wrestler Miro, of course, former WWE superstar Rusev, appeared on Talk with Jericho this week and discussed leaving WWE, getting fired, and signing with AEW. According to Miro, he said he knew he was going to come to AEW when he heard about the promotion. Also, Miro revealed that when he was previously asked for his release in WWE when he was unhappy 3 years ago, the news got leaked to the dirt sheets, and Miro was unhappy that he felt he had no one he could trust or to turn to in the company. Here are some highlights in the clip from the show. Miro, on knowing he would go to AEW, he says, the journey was, boy, I kind of knew I was going to come here. AEW, honestly, when AEW first started, I was very unhappy. I wasn't happy because I knew I could give a lot more than the way that WWE was using me. That's all I wanted. I never pushed myself to be any kind of champion. I just wanted the opportunity to excel. And the most disheartening was I feel like I excelled in most every opportunity that they gave me, but somehow that was still not enough. And I'm a very competitive person. I grew up playing sports, and in my mind, if you do better, you should get on top, right? But it got to the point where why am I doing all this? I'm doing all these, killing myself to a degree to go nowhere, and it was frustrating. And I knew that I needed a new challenge. And then when the whole pandemic thing happened, when they let me go, I was not discouraged at all. I knew it was meant to be. I knew when the time was right, I'm going to come to AEW. And I believe that I talked to you, Jericho, and you said, I mean, later on you said, let's bring you in, but you said, let's have something for you. Let's not have you here for the sake of being here, which made a lot of sense. And I was so happy. The timing, the best man, everything worked to such a perfection because it just meant to be. Miro, of course, asking for his WWE release about 3 years ago. He says, so I did ask for my release about 3 years ago. I did ask because it was another situation where I was just unhappy. And I talked to one person the next day. That conversation was in the dirt sheets. That it was very like it, and this was the problem. Who do you go to? Who do you turn to when you're down? When you need advice, when you need somebody to be like, "Hey, man, it will be okay." You have nobody because they're all stooges. Somehow it always leaks out, and you don't feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, you have nowhere to turn to. You're naked out there. Thank God I have my wife, and she has me. And we always kind of like when I'm distressed, it's back and forth. But at the end of the day, man, you need somebody where you can be like, hey, man, this is not okay. Who do I talk to? So, so check out that, of course, interview with Jericho did with Miro, of course, if you like to, if you want to, of course, look in on that. This story came out on Friday with some WWE news from Blake Lavelle. The Undertaker gets a Snapchat lens. Plus, also Seth Rollins breaks into a fast food restaurant on a new WWE story time. In the build to The Undertaker's final farewell Survivor Series, WWE has announced a special Snapchat lens for the Phenom. Here's the official release from the company. The power of The Undertaker is in your hands, or at least on your face. Right now, Snapchat, you have the chance to transform yourself into the formidable demon from Death Valley with an exclusive lens unearthed in celebration of 30 Days of the Dead Man. Use the snap code, of course, use the snap code above to begin your supernatural metamorphosis and share your Phenom form with your friends all this month leading up to the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker's debut on Sunday, November 22nd at Survivor Series. Also, WWE has released a sneak peek of a new edition of WWE's Storytime, which features Seth Rollins recalling a drive-thru experience at a fast food restaurant. There's a video about this on this page if you want to check it out. And one more quick story here, of course. Blake Lavelle posted this on Friday as MJF was interviewed about learning from Chris Jericho which wrestling legends he studied the most. In a recent interview with Fightful, MJF discussed learning from Chris Jericho, which wrestling legends he studied from the most, and much more. Here are some of the highlights. MJF on learning from Jericho. I had a bar mitzvah. It was called Maximania. I took the WWE logo and flipped it into an M. You know who else did that? Yeah, The Miz. And he did it 4 years after I invented it. We're not going to get into that. It's cool. He did his own thing with it. Was it upsetting? Should I have trademarked it? Probably, but it is what it is. Mike Bazanin, hell of a guy. I love his show on E. But yeah, I had one of the tables named after Jericho. I've always been a fan of CJ. I think CJ is a tremendous performer. I see a lot of people claiming we have similarities, and I do find it interesting because when Christopher asked the same question, do you see the similarities between you and MJF? His response was, I was nowhere near as good at the age of 24 as MJF is. I was working moose lodges in Canada, which is true. What I want people to understand is I pick and choose aspects of people's games because I'm a student of the game. Chris Jericho is most certainly one of the people that I've definitely studied an awful amount of. On which other wrestling legends he studied the most? Well, I have to say Roddy Piper a billion times, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard. It's unfortunate that me and him have had a spat back in the day. But I think if me and him talked it out, it'd be fine. I mean, the list honestly goes on and on. Nick Bockwinkel, I grow exhausted with the example simply because I watch so much professional wrestling. I watch Mid South, I watch Global, I watch Smoky Mountain, I watch AWA, I watch World Class, watch anything I can get my hands on pretty much from 92 downwards because so many people my generation don't concern themselves with that time frame because they feel they can get nothing from it. I find that laughable. There's a reason why every single time that I'm in the ring, it seems I'm unique. I feel like a throwback of sorts. I feel different, whereas every else is kind of going out there and they're trying to do sequences as fast as they possibly can. They're trying to hurt their opponent by doing flips and dives. It was never my MO. I believe Chris Jericho is somebody that was able to mix both the old school and the new school. That's something I pride myself on as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's some small small wrestling news tidbits right there. Of course, I know they're a day or two old, but like I said, I mean, in this case, you don't get the opportunity to read anything on 411 Mania. You can go ahead and do so here as well. On that note, here, folks, I want to thank you very much for listening in to, of course, a special edition of WCWUS this morning. We hope to, of course, we had a technical glitch on TalkShoe, so that's why we are using this format here today. We may try this again here in the near future. I will be posting a link to this on our page, WCWUS Revolution Radio, so you can go back and watch this if you care to. Of course, take a listen in on that. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. This is, of course, Mr. WCWUS Chad Hinshaw. Be sure to check out all of our groups on Facebook and check out all of our past episodes of the radio network, of course, on TalkShoe.com. Take care and God bless, folks, and we'll talk at you here soon. This is, of course, since 2008. This is the place where we have been forever united standing. We are WCWUS. Take care and God bless.